Today, I'm happy to welcome Gulmakai Saleh. She is an author, the founder of a not for profit based on goodness, and a busy woman educating and uplifting children. She's a speaker, a mentor, an author, and she lives to inspire children and students to be heroes to themselves and to their communities, encouraging positivity in themselves and the environment, and bringing them to a place where the golden rule is contagious. During her childhood, Gomaki was a victim of war, bullying, and not being understood. Now she's a survivor. She came to the USA as a refugee when she was a child, and she was a refugee from Afghanistan. But she's lived here in the United States for over 30 years. And she's written 3 children's books: The Goodness Suit, Princess Diversity, and The Golden Rule. And she has a new book called Touched by a Butterfly. She works with and educate communities of all faiths, races, and nationalities. And her program is called, and she's the director of The Golden Tree of Goodness. And I'm just filled with curiosity because I love the title, Touched by a Butterfly. Could you tell us what the book is about?
Hello. First, thank you for having me. I really appreciate you wanting to interview me and promoting goodness. Um, I'm very happy. Uh, why was I inspired to name it Touched by a Butterfly? See, my name it's connected to my name and what I do and what I want to promote. My name is a name from Afghanistan. It's a Pashto name. That's the language we speak. Pashto. Gual means flower and maki means butterfly. So when there's this saying, what you eat, you become that. What you wear, you become that. And of course, whatever your name is, it reflects your character, your personality. So when I look at my name, I see that I am a butterfly that's flying around beautiful flowers and touching them. And these flowers are children. So that's where the name came from. And why I wanted to write the book is because we need more mentors for our young children. You know what I went through in my life. I wish I had mentors guiding me. So I wish people could use this book. This is the book. I wish people could use this book as a tool to connect with children and talk about the different ways they could help them bring the best out of them, give them a growth mindset, believe in themselves, that they could do anything that they put their mind to.
That's good. So this isn't really a book for children, but for adults to work with children and share with children?
No, actually, the story is for children. It's good for 4 through 8 years old, 4 to 8 years old children age group. Um, I mean, even it could go up to 9. Even younger kids could be read too. But I
Okay.
say the book could be used as a tool to connect with children. You know, as a teacher or a mentor could read the story to them and connect with them through the story.
Oh, okay. Okay. I misunderstood. I was had this thought that you had exercises in there for for the adults to do with the children. And actually having them being able to read the book is better
Yeah,
than
yeah.
exercises that you give them to do.
Mhm.
So this book just came out this year or at the end of last year?
Well, I haven't announced it yet. So I'm doing a promotional launch. I'm thinking of doing it March 22nd, where I do a live Facebook Live and a party, a launch
Yeah.
party on Facebook, and get people to know about the book and promote it. So it is out. It's just that I'm not announcing it because I want to do the Facebook Live and explain my reason why I did it, why I want to. This also connects to one of the article I wrote on Productive Muslim page, um, and it was about it was about the village around the children. It's crumbling, and how we can rebuild it is becoming mentors. And we're all mentors to children, whether we like it, we think we are, or we think we're not. Whatever we promote, whether it's our ideas, whether it is our words or our action, the children are always looking at us. So when I went through my life, I noticed that I didn't have a lot of mentors. Very few. They were very weak. And I noticed working with children for the past 15 years, I noticed a lot of children too do not have mentors now. I mean, mentors, you don't have to have a professional job to be a mentor. Simple guidance, simple instructions, simple coaching could help a child change their lives, their mindset, the way they look at life. Um, there's many things. I look back at what my name means, being a butterfly, and I follow the stages of a butterfly, where they're in the egg, and then they're in a caterpillar stage, and then they're in a cocoon stage, and they become an adult and open up their wings and fly. See, I came out of that stage, but a lot of children that grow up become adults, they never develop those wings to fly. They either turn to drugs, they either turn to commit suicide, or they're angry with the world. They just hate the world. They just hate people because so many things happen in their childhood. With a simple guidance from an adult or a younger adolescent could even help guide them on the right path. And I said that this book could be used as a tool to connect with that child and guide them and make them open minded, a growth mindset, have them develop a growth mindset.
In a way of helping to give them more resilience. Because one of the ladies I talked to was
Yes.
talking about resilience, being able just to be able to handle, knowing how to handle difficult situations and to survive them and overcome them. Like you said, going through that butterfly process. And a lot of people don't ever get to come out of the cocoon. Like, and that's
Mhm.
really important. And it's important that you're out here trying to guide people to help children, because I think a lot of people have seen, because of the some children who are online and making money and doing this and doing that, and I think some people think children don't need guidance, that they can just go to school and learn what they need. But you know that it's that personal interaction and personal examples and the need children have to be heard and seen and know someone cares.
Sure. Yeah. The approach I do is I approach as a holistic approach. I don't just deal with the children. I also deal with parents or the caregivers, the teachers that are around the child. So we just can't, we can't just give a band-aid and say, here, kid, do this and do that. We also have to help those around the child, because sometimes those parents or those educators, they're lost and confused too on how to deal with certain type of children who have certain issues. So it's good to approach it with a holistic mindset and look at it from all angles and help the child develop themselves. uh, I'm doing a recent research right now on how social media influencers are influencing our younger children, and how we could guide these influencers to be more positive and more, you know, how how they promote whatever they're doing. So they understand that what they're doing could have an effect on their moral development of the child. Because a lot of, I have my daughters. I have so many students who are always on YouTube or Instagram or wherever, Snapchat. They're looking at these people. Now there's a new thing, TikTok, that's
Oh,
out. Yeah, I mean, so many things, so many social media platforms are coming out. It's just, you can't keep up with it. And young people who are not fully developed, they're going there and they're promoting things and they don't know what they're doing yet. And they just, my daughter, for example, she started Instagram page and she's under my account. So I go through her account and her name is not known. So, but what she do is she's helping people the same way as I am. She's putting good posts. So I'm encouraging other parents to watch, mentor their children. What are they doing online? They're influencers. They're developing. They are. These children are setting the stage for how this child will develop morally. So always supervising that child on social media, what they're doing, what are they promoting, what are they saying, who are they following too. It could be both ways. Whether you're the follower, you're the influencer, the one who's promoting.
and it's really important for the parents to be actively engaged with what their children are doing on social media because Instagram is, which is owned by Facebook, has the same tendency for people to lurk and um, be less than, have questionable intentions. And if you're an adult, you can see it and say, block them. But if you're a child, or especially a child who's wanting attention or something, and somebody sends them a direct message saying, hi, beautiful, if you don't have someone saying, no, that's not a good idea, or who is this person, a child could really get hurt or getting very confused without
Yeah.
the supervision because but you don't want to, on the other hand too, and it's more work for the parent, but you don't want to unless you're living yourself as an adult with no social media. You can't tell your children you can't do this but I can, you know without them going and doing it on their own,
Yeah.
unless you don't give them a cell phone or give them the tools to do it. So it is important for parents to be actively engaged with what their children are doing. Because I have niece who they I can't get pictures of her children without a promise. I had to tell her as promise, I'm not going to put them on social media because she is some of the younger people are totally opposed to having anything on social media, which is kind of in a way good if you have, you're in a place where you have friends and people you don't really, and you're not doing business on it. It isn't something that's essential for your life, contrary to what a lot of people have led us to believe about social media. But you use social media in a very good way, and your posts are always interesting. You find some of the more interesting uh, articles. You find people doing positive actions and caring for people, and I really enjoy watching, checking out your posts more so on Facebook than I have been on Instagram because I haven't been on Instagram that much. So tell us a little bit more about your foundation and the work that you're doing for goodness.
So the Golden Tree of Goodness is, I'm working to make it into a nonprofit. It's taking time, but I have my three books, and each book have some way of promoting goodness. There's a theme to every book, which there's a reading session I give from the book for the younger age kids, and then there's workshops for the older kids, and of course there's workshops for adults like the parents and the educators, for each book on that theme. So like my first book, the Goodness Soup, that is a interfaith story with a Muslim family living next to a Christian family who are elders. So it teaches about neighborhood and neighborly love. It teaches about parents respecting parents, and it also teaches how the older son in the story becomes a leader and guides the younger siblings to do what is right. So those are the morals I want to give through this book and how we could implement. And of course, the golden rule is in the story too. My second book, The Princess Diversity and the Golden Rule, this book was inspired by my life when I was bullied at school because I was of a different faith. So I still notice that even today, kids it just have gone resort with bullying. It's not just kids bullying, it's also in workplaces, because the kids never changed when they were never stopped when they were young. They became adults and they still continue to bully. So that story, it's about bullying. Even if you're finding resiliency against bullies, applying the golden rule, helping others who are being bullied, and just motivating. And it's about diversity. So this character, Princess Diversity, she has uh, blonde hair, she has brown skin, she has freckles, she has eyelashes, she's poor. She has a hand that's not working properly. So she has all these different elements that kids could get laughed at. So that's why I made her like that. What would a child be laughed at? Wearing glasses. What would be a child laughed at? Having freckles, or having dark skin, or having bushy hair. So I gave her those. I told my illustrator to give those characteristics to her body. So that book is about that, and of course that goes, it goes with the different age group, with the younger kids reading session with the puppet show, and then the older kids a workshop. It's a more an interactive workshop, and for the adults on how to combat bullying at school using the art of the golden rule against school bullying. And then now my third book, which I already spoke about, it's with this I made for one act play, which I just did at a recent event, me and my daughter. It's about the book, how there's a leaf, there's a flower that turns a stem, a seed that turns into a stem turning into a leaf with a stem, and it grows the process of a flower. And this caterpillar is always helping and motivating this flower that you could grow, you could grow, you could do it, you could do it. And then at a certain time where the flower is a bud, the flower doesn't know what to do, constantly seeking help from this mentor, this friend, the caterpillar. But at this time, the caterpillar has gone into a cocoon. It's becoming an adult. And as the bud is waiting, the cocoon opens up and a beautiful butterfly comes and touch the bud, which the bud transforms into a beautiful flower. So that's where the touch of a butterfly is,
Oh,
the mentor, they give that love, that care to the child.
oh, that's a beautiful story. I really
Thank
like that. That is really, really good. It's almost like a folk tale. It's really great.
you.
And I
Yeah.
like your description of the little girl. It's kind of like I was, except that because I had bushy hair, but when I was little, but my mom was braided it, and I have freckles, and I have glasses, but no one picked on me. I don't know, I was one of those children who was fortunate enough not to pay any attention to anybody. So I was always kind of in my own world, and I also grew up in an Air Force family. So I never spent more than 2 years in any one school. So it was like I was always new, and sometimes when you're totally new, people kind of ignore you. You don't, as opposed to when someone's there long enough for someone to start to pick on them or deal with those things. But I know now, but I did know that when I graduated from high school, I was very happy. And I said right after I was out of high school that I was glad I graduated when I did, because I could see then that, and knowing myself, that if I had been born a little bit later, I might not have ever finished high school.
Mhm.
because I was, it's become really, it hasn't to me in a lot of ways, with all the progress we're making. A lot of the schools, children have not progressed, and it's difficult for children because it's hard to take care of emotional and social needs when you got 30 people in one room and expect them, one adult, to basically, you can't even hardly learn in that kind of environment, especially when you
Uh-huh.
need more individual attention. So a lot of the problems in schools are created by the nature of what we have. So it's really important to have
Sure.
people like you writing the books you're writing and doing the work you're doing to kind of
Mhm.
fill in those gaps that the schools can't handle right now, because the
Yeah,
changes that need to be
that's
made
where,
are revolutionary.
yeah, the administration, working with the administration, teachers having 30 children, students, it's not possible unless she has a teacher aide with her to help her maintain the children. And then with elementary class, it's just that one teacher most of the time, except for a few different subjects, you get different teachers. But in middle school and higher, that teacher just meets you 45 minutes and that's it. And then she has another set of students. And being a teacher myself, I know the difference because I made in my beginning years. I was working with different students, but once different classrooms. But once 2 3 years passed, I was like, no, I want one classroom. I just want to focus on these set of students because I will learn their personality, I'll learn their learning style, and I will work with them. I will know their likes, their dislikes, their strengths, their weakness, and I could do better with them. And it did work out. I had them. I had that one set of students, and I worked with them, and they came out to achieve their goals in their academic teachings. Um, you're right. It's a lot. You know, us coming from the bottom, we could do as much, but those up higher, they need to wake up and take some actions. Because I am somewhat disappointed because I do go to libraries and schools and churches and other religious centers, and I offer my service, and they do complain that there's bullying happening, but they're not interested. They're not interested, and um, I know it takes an effort. It takes effort to put an event together, but we're willing to do it. So and I'm always helping them. I could promote the event. I could work with you, create the flyer, create the announcement, share it. But some people are. They just don't want to put effort into it.
Yeah. I don't know people, but it's good that you're able to get where you are. And have you ever thought about, do you ever do anything on YouTube?
Well, what I do webcast lives on Facebook, and I take them and I put on YouTube. I edit them and put on
Okay.
YouTube. And there's like other interviews I had. The one I had with you, I put it there, and I have two channels.
But have you ever done anything for the children that's on YouTube?
Um, I have another channel, Youth Under the Shade. That's more directed to Muslim children. And that was before I came out of my cocoon. I was doing it with my children. We will make short videos on different uh, topics, and I will put it up there for children. And they were excited. They did. Noticed a lot of children did enjoy. It's for me. YouTube is hard to get subscribers and viewers. Facebook is like the main thing for me.
Well, you're doing well on Facebook, and it's hard, and you've done very well in getting the following you
Yeah.
have. And the thing about YouTube is it's, well, I can't say it's forever, but as long as it is a platform, your work continues to be, you never know who will see your work and how, and it continues to impact people, because it I'm constantly surprised every now and then. I'm going to get a comment from somebody on videos I made 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And and sometimes some of the ones I'm doing now. And I've actually had people sending me comments thanking me for something for one of the videos. And these were, some of them were stories, but some of them, and I can't remember, I did a series of Black history videos a couple of years ago. And then I've done stories that I've done. And I just think that the work you're doing, anytime like you've done, like repurposing videos that you've done is really good. But if you ever get the opportunity to work with some kids and could have it recorded and put on YouTube, it could build up. It might be slow and it might not be a whole lot of people, but you could, it would be a way of impacting people you wouldn't know necessarily, but it would be there. And my thing is like, whatever we do, the more we put it out there, it has an effect. And YouTube, actually, it really does. It's surprising how people find things.
Sure, you're right.
And doing, if you, and it's all in the title and some of the words you use about, like how you can be a better person, or how you can be happy, or how you can be good, or there's different ways. So I just think you would be really, could have some really successful shows. But I understand Facebook, and you're doing really well with Facebook, and that's a lot of people and a lot of us kind of struggle to get someone, but you do real good posts, you have good information. And I think that, and and I think your interviews have been really an engine for your Facebook, because your interviews are really good. You get good people and you get your audience engaged, and you've done really well with building that audience.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, the Facebook Live I see has more impact. Besides, if I just upload a video to Facebook, it doesn't has as much view. But if I do a live, it has a more greater impact on it. The thing is having the right audience. I might have an audience, but it's not the audience for what I am trying to promote. Not everyone wants to know about how to raise a child or how to help a child or worry about bullying. So that's one issue. I come around is, do I have the right audience, even though I might have a larger follower than others. And so I've been really thinking of that. How can I get the right audience? So I could share this message of mine. Try to promote goodness with the children, because it's the children we need to help, because they will be the next generation. They will be our presidents. They will be our leaders. They will be our doctors and police officers and teachers. What kind of morals will they have? What type of ethics will they have? What type of mindsets will they have? Will they be able to raise the following generation? So that's why I focus a lot on young children.
And that's important, because they're the ones who take care of us when we get older. People
Yeah.
don't think about that, In one way or another, these children will be doing the work that will impact our lives too. So what are I know you're going to be launching your new book. What other activities you have planned for promoting goodness?
Well, I have my fourth book coming too. And so that's The Courageous Smile, titled The Courageous Smile. That's after my granddaughter.
Oh,
She born with a she was born prematurely, and she was born with a cleft lip and palate. But what she taught me, that no matter how broken you are, how hard a life you have, you still could give something back, and that could be a simple smile. So even though she was going through so much, and we were so sad that what she went through, she will always give us a smile. So that's why I was inspired to write that book, smiling. And something is, a smile has a lot to do with me, because also me myself, I was bullied and called Mona Lisa because I always smile. Yeah. My daughter, my older daughter, she got in trouble in school because she was smiling. We're the smiling family. And I did a talk on this on how smiles. When I was doing the research for my talk, I tried to find out how does it affect other people. But most things you'll find in the research scholarly work is how it affects me, like it, makes me happy and stuff. I just found one research that was done in Scotland, I believe. I have to go through my notes. Yeah, it was done in Scotland where they noticed that the, the smiles are contagious. So what the answer was right there. Whatever I feel, how it makes me feel. If I smile and I make you smile, the same things happen to you. It gives the same reaction to you. So smiling is a great thing to do.
Yes, it is. So I guess I can't. Well, I know there's some people because I laugh too,
Yeah,
and sometimes I'll be the only person laughing, and I can see where people sometimes think you shouldn't be laughing about that. That isn't funny. I don't laugh at other people, but some things happen, and I'll laugh. Sometimes I try not to laugh real loud, but it's good to be able to smile and laugh about things instead of
yeah,
getting stressed out or worried or
mm,
concerned about something because and a smile is uplifting, and I'm sure that there's a lot of biological things that are happening with our nerves and the chemicals in your body when you smile. It's sending
yeah.
good things through your body. So so the smile book will be another book after your butterfly book.
Yeah, I'm anticipating it during the summertime or early fall time. I have the two books I illustrated them myself. The Touch by a Butterfly. I did this my first time. I did graphic design on my own, so
Oh
I drew
wow.
everything. Well, yeah,
Oh, you
so
are really, those are beautiful.
thank you. And my first book, the Goodness Soup. I drew that with my own hands. This was graphic. For my Princess Diversity and this other book, I hired an illustrator.
And you draw very well. It's really pretty.
Thank
I'm
you.
uh, I'm getting ready to do some drawing too. My husband draws
Yeah.
comics, and he's been telling me for years that I can draw. And I had done a couple 24-hour comics, and I've got for my birthday I bought these two dolls that were made in Africa by a Nigerian, and I had my black Barbie doll, and I set them up, and I've been looking at them, and I told him, I said, I want to make a comic. I'm going to do an Instagram comic of my dolls because they'll be able to talk about being a woman of color and different issues, real easy. And drawing is relaxing in a way for me.
Yeah.
Working with
So
with
they're
pencil because I started writing every day a page, and I'm handwriting, and that's what I started enjoying. I said, "Oh, I like doing this writing," and that's what said, "Oh, I think I'll do some drawing too," because it's nice to get off the computer and do
wow.
something
Yeah.
more creative. So you're going to do another book, and you you work. So primarily, have you been doing all of your work in the town where you live, or do you go into other states?
So I've been to a few states. I've been to Maryland, New Jersey, Delaware, Virginia, um, and of course Pennsylvania, the state I am in. Um, so these are the states, and slowly you grow. It's been 3 years, so it's
You're
been a lot
doing
now,
you're,
but
you're doing
eventually
really
you
well.
grow in. Yeah, I mean,
Well,
with Facebook, you don't need to travel in an airplane. you
yes.
the content you put out there is worldwide. So a lot of people from other parts of the world contact me and say, they like what I'm doing and they need advice or mentoring. So I do that for them. and connect with them. That's the great thing about the internet. I know there's a lot of good and bad in everything, you know. So you try to do the good things and go from there.
Well, that's really good. And you're getting international, and you just keep on. It grows, doors open, and your work is so good. And the children you're co- contacting and working with, they're going to grow up and remember you and your work, and it gains, and it's very important. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners before we end our conversation?
um, talking about art, you know, most of the memories I have were not always good about my childhood, but there's, those few memories that, stayed with you that were positive. So one of my art teacher, because I'm very good with, I was very, in other classes, I wasn't doing so well, but art was always like my favorite class that I was doing well. So he was so inspired by my artwork that he said that he's going to put it in the museum, our local museum. And that really made me happy. And like, these are the things we need to do. When we see a skill a child has, we need to help them develop it, encourage them, give them positivity, and that will inspire them to grow on and become great people. And they will too also grow into leaders who will do good and not be bullies, boss bullies or coworker bullies.
Yeah, that's really important. And well, there's one more thing I want to just talk to you a little bit. Have you heard of ACEs?
Yeah, can you just refresh my memory?
It's adverse childhood events,
Yeah.
which, because here and that is tied with resilience. Because it's become in Alaska that it's a movement that's gotten really big because Alaska has one of the smallest populations in the country, but is one of the largest in a lot of the problems from drug abuse, spousal abuse, addictions, and adverse childhood events.
Yeah.
That, what happens, and that's part of the problem with a lot of adults is that they've never dealt with these problems they had when they were children. In fact, some people don't even connect problems they may be having as an adult with something that happened when they were a child.
Yeah.
So it's really good to have you doing the work you're doing because the type of work you're doing helps children through those adverse events and lets
Mhm.
them know there's options, there's other ways of living and other ways of doing things.
Yeah. Yes. You're right.
So thank you, and I will be including links to your Facebook group, and I look forward to us getting together again in a few months.
Oh, I want to say thank you for having me again, and it's great to share my whatever little good I could share with you and your audience. It's a blessing. I'm very grateful for your time that
Oh,
you invest in promoting good, because you do a lot of good too. I see you doing so much. We have to not be competing with each other, but promoting each other, helping each other,
oh yeah.
working together. Because the world is a big place. You do what you're doing in your corner, I do what I'm doing in my corner, and slowly we build the communities around us.
Right. Thank you, Gomaki. And this is the end of our interview, and we will be back with more women of color telling their stories.